Welcome to the narrowboat that James built. Hope you're well. Thank you for joining me. Well, you'll have seen on the last video, or the last three, has all been about fitting the kitchen. And what I really want to do is move on to the stove. But I can't do that until I have fixed the actual worktop in place. And I can't really do that until I have put the sinks in. So the stove is being delayed slightly until the sinks are done and the work surface is done. In order for me to do the sinks, I've got to get them out the car. They weigh a ton. I've got to take them somewhere. I'll probably take them down to the canals, probably the best way to do it. And I've got to clean them up. So that's the first job. I can do all of that, put the kitchen back together, and then move on to the fireplace. Right, so these are my two sinks, which Will has very kindly given me, and they need a little bit of cleaning up just around the edges before I start using them to cook and clean dishes in. So I'm going to give that a clean up. They weigh a ton, but I'm going to give them a clean up and see how they come up, offer them up, and then make a view on it. Well, I'm outside on this lovely day doing this particular job, so speaking of my coffee. So these are the sinks, and the idea is, the method in my madness is to have two sinks, as you know. This one here, though, the Overflow Sink, is going to have a piece of work surface in it which can be taken out, and that is so it's going to be, it just means I can just use the small sink for every day. I don't have to have a big area of the work surface taken up with an empty sink all the time. I can just use the small one for every day. So I have a big sink for when the kids are over, if I've got lots of stuff to do. I've got a big sink, but it doesn't have to be used, and I can have, as I said, a work surface on top to make sure that it's a bit more user friendly. There's loads of silicone around here. There's a little bit of soil in the bottom of that, so I'm going to have to clean that out as well, but I'm just using a blade to come round and take off the silicone. And this bit comes off quite well, but I just got to clean it up afterwards. That will take time. It's the scraping round of this stuff. But with a sharp blade at the right angle, it works. Okay, so those are the two sinks cleaned up. Obviously the one on the left has come up really well. The one on the right has obviously been used more in its lifetime. So I'm going to see if I can get some kind of stain remover or something for that. But happy with that. I'm going to go and take them to the boat and see what they look like in, and see what it kind of goes together like. Okay, so after bringing them back in and cleaning them both up, and I think I'm going to opt for the larger sink. I think I'm just going to go for one. Otherwise, this whole surface is all about the sink, and I need more space than that. So I think I'm just going to go for the larger one. I was tempted to go just for the smaller one, but this is deeper as well. So I think this is the one to opt for. It's annoying because this is the dirtier one. There's quite a lot of stain in there. I'm going to see what I can do with that and see if I can smarten that up a bit. But otherwise, you know, it's probably been baked on for 30, 50 years or something like that. So I'm sure it's okay. But it's a lovely sink. It's absolutely lovely. Made by Collar from the USA. So yeah, this is a great sink. So I'm going to mark it out, cut it up and put it in. And then I can move on to the fireplace. Right, so the worktop has been put in place now. It's secured in. I've glued the inside of the frame with waterproof PVA. I've put loads in. Now I'm going to drop the sink in, but before I do, I'm just going to Sikaflex a rim around the edge. And this obviously provides the adhesive, but also the sealing. I'm putting quite a generous bead in there because there's quite a cavity inside the sink to fill. Excellent. Right, there we go. Sink's in, which means that I can, yeah, that fits in nicely, that does. And that means I can put the other side of this on now and kind of be done with the galley for the time being, and then I can work on with the fireplace. Okay, so now the sink's in place, I can pump that in place. And there are some little feet to go on here which clamp it onto the work surface underneath. And they also provide a nice little rubber seal so it doesn't slam shut like that. But it's all in. So the seam's done. I'm happy with that. Ish. It could be better, but couldn't everything. Yeah, I haven't done anything on the fireplace yet. I mean, I've done the prep work in terms of I've got the back ready for it, but I haven't done anything. I haven't got my tile spacers yet, so I can't do anything like that, but I can get them tomorrow. So the plan for later on is to kind of build the fireplace, build the hearth, kind of get some of it ready. Right, I've now put a back on this cupboard here, and it also provides a little kind of lip coming up here of 50mm, but it also provides the framework for the fireplace. So I'm going to put some battens down there, but that's the basis of the fireplace. And I need to do another one going across there, so set back from that wall as well. And that is some of the extra bits from the floorboards. Obviously it's going to be covered in a whole load of stuff. There'll be quite a nice kind of plinth going across there. On that side there, that's also the same height as one of the extra battens you can get of this material. So I could just line it in that, or I could paint it or do something else, or get some tiles or something like that on it. Actually, maybe some small black tiles might be quite nice. I've also put these feet in, and the only way they clamp on, I'll show you on the underneath, there's really not much tolerance at all, so it just clamps on to there. So that's why when you cut that radius, you can't just kind of go too far, because it's only probably clamping on by about 5 mil. But that's on, and then when you close it, has a nice satisfying thud as opposed to a clinking of metal and glass. Right, so now I've got to build the other upright going across there, then build the base, make sure it's all square. That's the trick here, is to do it before you put the tiles on, because if it's not square now, when you put the tiles on, you'll really know about it. So that's the key, is to get all this bit correct. So let me show you the cutaway on the sink. To be honest, I'm really happy with how this has turned out. It's pretty much exactly as I wanted it, just not as severe. I thought that was going to be a lot further back. So the wall is going to be 9 mil from here. So the wall is going to obviously would come down into the sink. It's not going to come down as far as that. It's going to be cut underneath, straight underneath the conduit tray. And there will be a small kind of wall coming up the side here, which will meet it. Obviously that will be water sealed, and maybe have like a rubber edge going along it, and that will join up to the conduit tray, as I said. So that's the plan there, but I'm really happy with that, because it means that you do actually get a really good size sink. It looks great in terms of the fact that it's in the same proportions as the hobs. I didn't want a tiny sink and a fairly large hob, because for a boat those are fairly large. You can get bigger obviously, but you can get a lot smaller, and most are. So I didn't want a tiny sink, so I'm really happy with the proportions and how they look. But most of all, I just think that is going to look really good having that overhang. I think that's a really good use of that space, is to basically enable me to have a full-size sink. So I don't know if anyone's got any comments or suggestions about how I get rid of some of this stuff here. This, I don't know what it is. It's I don't know. The material seems fine. It's just stained, but the rest of it came up really well. I haven't really cleaned it that much. I've just scraped it off, but all that silicone comes off. It's just tricky. It just takes a bit of time. That's not silicone. That's needs something else there. But yeah, really happy with that. Really happy with that. So, job's a good one. So there we have it. There's the galley done. Well, the kind of the framework of the galley's done, but importantly, 2 appliances are out of the way and in place. So the hobs and the sink. Good stuff. Right. So now we move on to the fireplace. I got myself one of these today, which is a decorative piece that goes over the collar. So it goes up the flue, or on kind of top of the flue, where the collar is, in the ceiling, and just makes it look nice. I've got to cut away some insulation, no change there, and make sure that obviously there's no insulation around where the flue is. There's a bit of guidance for things like that. What else today? My gas locker, I picked that up. The guys did a brilliant job. The seat that he put on top, obviously the gas locker is only 3 mil thick, which is a bit flimsy. But for the seat on top of it, I wanted that to be a bit sturdier. So I've asked them to make it a bit thicker. They've made it out of 5. It looks really good. Obviously it needs to be painted and cleaned up and stuff. They've made a little outlet breathing hole for the for any gas leak, for the gas to escape. And I'll need to drill a hole and put in the right skin fitting in there. And also there needs to be a regulator put in. So that's some stuff for me to buy tomorrow or whenever. But now it's all about the fireplace. So hopefully kind of 1 or 2 days maybe to get this in. I spoke to a guy earlier, it's taken him 2 weeks. So that's a bit scary. Hope that doesn't happen. Anyway, so you'll have to wait until tomorrow and see how the fireplace starts. So until then, look after yourselves. Be very safe. Take care. Bye bye.